Okay, so I just figured I'd go over all my gear. So I got it all laid out. I've gone over it about 4 different times now. I got a list, but I think I've finally reached everything. I still plan on ordering a little day pack and a chamois towel, but I'll probably do that right before I leave for the trip here. But I want to start with my pack. This is a really, really old Cabela's pack my dad got for me when I was 12 or 13, and I decided to use this pack because it's large and it's pretty beefy, so I don't have to worry about beating it up. And then also, it's kind of drab, and I don't really want to stand out in a crowd too much, so that I can try to lessen the amount of chances that I'll get robbed or my bag will get robbed if I'm in a crowded city. But then the next important thing is basically what I'll be wearing. Changing climates a lot, so southern Argentina will be like pretty Alaskan, like a summer in Alaska. But then once I get into Patagonia, the weather is changes pretty drastically. So I mean, I could be in weather ranging from close to 0 all the way up to the 60s. And then I'll jump over the Andes into Chile, and I'll be on the beach. So I had to kind of cover a lot of bases there. So I'm bringing this flannel. It's a really heavy Cabela's flannel, actually. And it just kind of allows me to feel a little bit casual, but it still serves like an insulating purpose. And then these are the Marmot Scree soft shell pants. I figured soft shell would be my best option. They're somewhat moisture wicking, but they also have like an insulating property to them as well. And then I'm also bringing my Marmot Precip pants. These are hard shell pants for snow travel. If it's raining, I'm sure I'll encounter a lot of pretty heavy rainstorms. And then bringing 3 pairs of socks. All 3 pairs of socks are Darn Tough socks. I'm a pretty big advocate of the Darn Tough socks. I've used a lot of smart wool socks, but they never hold up as long as these do. And if I wear through these, I can send them in. They'll send me a new pair. So 3 pairs of Darn Tough socks. 2 pairs of underwear. I'm bringing the Ex Officio underwear. They're designed for travelers, and I can just like rinse them off in the sink and they'll dry really fast, and then they're ready to go again. So I should be able to get a lot of use out of those, being that I won't be able to wash clothes all the time. I'm bringing 1 pair of shorts. These are just cut off corduroys. They're really light, and so these will be what I use most of the time if I'm in the beach area in Chile, and then when I'm in Buenos Aires for New Year's and stuff as well. And then I have this Helly Hansen long sleeve thermal base layer. It's got moisture wicking properties, so this would be really good for mountain travel. And it's super light, so I don't mind packing the extra long sleeve for the pack. And then I just have 1 cotton t-shirt. I'm going to be in casual situations with locals and stuff too, so I kind of just wanted to have something somewhat casual. I got another pair of base layer pants here, or base layer bottoms. I'll have those as well. Obvious reasons of going in and out of cold and having the ability to wick away moisture while I'm hiking. And then just your basic pair of running shorts, because I still plan on running, and I want something when I'm in hostels and stuff like that for being casual. And then lastly, I have my boots here. These are the Salewa Alp Trainers. They're kind of a hybrid boot. They're designed with climbing rubber on the toe box, but then they also are pretty rigid for backpacking and for mountaineering purposes as well. So far, they've been really tight on my foot. Lengthwise, they're perfect. I couldn't ask for anything perfect, but they're really tight around the forefoot here. And so I'm still working on that. They fit really well if I take the insole out, but obviously I don't want to have to do that. So still working on it. Hopefully they'll break in. Been trying to wear them around a lot. But other than that, they're a really good boot. They have a cable system for tension, so as I step forward, as I'm going uphill, this cable tightens on the heel. It keeps that from slipping so I won't get blisters, which all those things are important with how many miles I'll be walking with a heavy pack. So that pretty much covers all my basic clothing, and then obviously I have to have a lot of technical equipment for mountain travel and being in the mountains in Patagonia, and then as well as just being in the Andes when I'm traveling through Chile. Such a drastic climate, so I wanted to be prepared for everything, so I have quite a bit of clothes packed in here. I chose to put it all in a compression sack to save space, but this is a Mountain Hardwear thermal, kind of their equivalent of the R1 fleece by Patagonia. but this wicks away moisture as well, and it'd be really good to have on over that Helly Hansen that I had. I'm all about layering, so this is the first layer in my jacket system. It'll cover temperatures by itself from 50 to 60, around there. Then the next layer in the system here, I have my Mountain Hardwear Blamins jacket. This is a synthetic, so it'll keep me warm if it gets wet. I think that's always important to have in your quiver of jackets. This will probably be my all-around jacket. I can put it over that, and I can be in temperatures down to freezing and be perfectly comfortable, which will probably be the most I'll need the majority of the time down there. But just in case, I am bringing my Mountain Hardwear puffy as well. I like down because I can pack it down super tight and it's pretty lightweight. So this will be my main insulating layer for those really frigid periods. That'll probably be in nighttime in the mountains, etc. And just in case, it takes a little bit of space in my pack, but it's so lightweight that it's kind of hard not to bring it. And then lastly, I will be in a lot of rain, wet conditions, especially in the Patagonian range, where the weather is really unpredictable. So I have the Arc'teryx Alpha SL here, super lightweight, fits in this little pack here, and I can compress it down even more if I wanted to put it in a compression sack, but I'm going to choose to do it like this. But this is a full-on hard shell. Arc'teryx did pretty good not including any pockets down here, which is kind of annoying, but it cuts back on a lot of weight and it allows it to pack down a lot better. Fully seam taped, waterproof zippers, so it's also helmet compatible, which will be good when I'm on the wall. So that covers all my jackets that I'm bringing. It seems like a lot, but I really don't like to be unprepared for weather. And then lastly, I just have like your basic beanie. I actually bought this at a gas station in Brookings, South Dakota. And then I have a pair of Mountain Hardwear gloves. These are designed for ice climbing, but they're a great all-around glove. Still going back and forth on bringing my heavily insulated gloves. Haven't really decided what I'm going to do there. But as for now, this is all I'm going to bring. So that covers all that I'm going to wear and what I'm going to pack it in and what's going to be on my feet. So now we'll talk about sleeping. Oh, sorry, forgot my little buff. I just have a free Hestra buff for working at backcountry. I'll bring that. It's good for covering the face and having something for my head, lightweight. Anyway, we'll go on to my sleep system. First is my tent. This is a pretty important purchase for me because I knew that I was going to be sleeping in a tent a lot, but tents take up a big bulk of your pack and they can be heavy. So I went the Big Agni Scout Plus UL2. It's a trekking pole tent. I want to have trekking poles because I have pretty bad knees, and so having this tent allows me to carry these poles in my hand and then set up the tent without poles, and that cuts the weight. So this is only 2 pounds, 5 ounces. So super lightweight tent, packs down really small. I'm actually going to take you outside and we'll set that up at the end of the video. Then, outside of that, I have this sleeping bag. This is a Christmas gift to me 4 or 5 years ago, and it is the Go Light Venture. It's a 0 degree down bag. So yeah, I know what you're thinking, like, oh, he's bringing a 0 degree bag, that's kind of silly, but this is a 0 degree down bag. It packs down this small and it's super lightweight. And I can be prepared for anything. If I'm in the mountains and it starts getting cold and I get cold, I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to be pissed, and I don't want that to happen. So I don't mind packing the extra weight. But I mean, this is a pretty huge down bag. It packs down super small. Go Light really nailed it. This was the Outside Magazine's #1 choice for best gear for sleeping bags in 2010. So pretty great bag. Used it a lot. I've used it down to 12 degrees and I was still warm. So it's proved itself. And then lastly, part of my sleeping system is the Big Agni's Q-Core. It's insulated as well, so I'm going to be extra warm when I'm up there. Packs down pretty small, so pretty stoked about that. And then we'll move into my eating system here. So first is water. The most important thing when you're out there is having water. And so I went ahead with a Catadine My bottle. It's viral. So this just attaches directly. It's actually the straw, so as you suck it, it filters out viruses, Giardia, all that kind of stuff, which is pretty necessary for me being down there. So I'll probably drink all my water out of this. Cool feature is these filters only last for 120 gallons. So they actually have a dial inside the lid here. Every time you put a gallon in there, or every time you fill it up, you click this and it tallies how many times you filled it up. And when you reach the end of the dial, you need to throw the filter away. So it's a really good way of like making sure that you never have to worry about whether or not your filter's clean. You always know. Also, I'm addicted to coffee, so I'm gonna pack this GSI Java mug, and it's a French press mug. So it just has this internal sleeve that comes out, which has a strainer on the bottom and a rubber O-ring. So you just boil your coffee or boil your water, put your grounds in the bottom like a basic French press, and then you plunge and drink. So really lightweight and allows me to have coffee in the backcountry. And I'll probably just carry a Ziploc baggie with coffee grounds in it when I get down there. And then to boil the water, I have just your basic jet boil. I went with the lowest end one. I actually have never used a jet boil. I usually use a pocket rocket, so this thing still has a tag on it and everything. But a small propane filter will fit down inside there, and as well as the burner itself. And the burner attaches on to the heating element down here at the bottom. And then this heating system is pretty self-contained, so probably making a lot of pastas and soups and little stews and stuff like that when I'm down there. So this is going to come in really handy. And so I think a lot of people are going to tell me that that's a pretty minimal eating system, and it is, but obviously I'm going to be staying in towns and stuff like that a lot of times, so I'm only going to need something in the backcountry. And then just to eat off of, I have your pretty basic like collapsible plate here and collapsible bowl as well, which I'll eat out of. I can also eat out of the jet boil system. And then I have one of those little split fork deals, spoon on one side, fork on the other, but it's down in the truck. So yeah, pretty basic eating system. Just water, coffee, and food. That's all I need, I guess. And then I also have this Goal Zero. This is the Nomad 13 solar panel. And then on the back here I have the Switch 8 actually charging inside the panel. So this is the Switch 8. It's just your basic charge bank. It hooks directly into the modem on the back of the solar panel here. And then all these hooks and loops on the side allow me to attach it to my backpack. So this will just be a solar panel attached to the back of my backpack when I'm hiking in the backcountry. And it'll be continuously charging this charge bank, which I can plug my phone into. And I can also plug my phone directly into the charging thing if I want to, and it'll charge my phone directly off the solar panel after this is done being charged. So my phone is the only piece of technology I'll be bringing outside of this, and that'll be my main lifeline for support. I won't actually have any coverage down there, but I'll be able to access Wi-Fi when I'm in coffee shops and stuff like that. And I'll be taking my pictures on there, and I'll have a bunch of maps saved on there so that I always know where I'm going. So that's pretty important to me, is to be able to have that. But then I also need to have climbing gear. It was pretty hard to decide what to bring because I really have to cut weight, but I don't want to be like a total mooch to any partners I find down there, which right now is the hardest part, is just knowing that I'm going down there without any real plan. I'm just hoping that I find a partner. So I was trying to think of like what gear I could bring that would make me like the least parasitic towards another partner. I don't really want to carry cams, I can't carry rope, I can't really manage all that weight, so I've kind of broken it down to this small amount of stuff. So I'm bringing 4 Bentgate non-locking carabiners. I'm bringing 4 locking carabiners with a gree. I'm also going to bring an ATC guide, but that's not here right now, it's in the truck. And then a nut tool, because nothing annoys me more than someone going trad climbing and not having their own nut tool, so I'll bring my own nut tool. Bringing a double shoulder length runner, and then I'll bring a single shoulder length runner. And these I can use as alpine draws if I need to, but more than anything, I think it's nice to have your own equipment to build an anchor that you can hold on to, and it's your own personal equipment that you know where it's been. You don't have to worry about whether or not it's where it's got to be chemicals on it or anything like that. And then I'll bring a single cordelet, which, same reason. It's important to have your own stuff to build your own anchor, because you always know that the integrity is safe if you've been taking care of it. And then last I have the Arc'teryx B360 harness. This is an alpine big wall harness. It's super lightweight, packs down really small, and then it has a lot of gear loops, 3 gear loops on each side, and then just a small chalk bag loop on the back. Do a really good job of cutting weight on this thing. It's kind of paper thin, almost kind of feels scary when you put it on. So I'll have that packed along as well. So choosing shoes was pretty hard for me because I'm not really sure what kind of climbing I'm going to be doing. I know that the potential for me to be doing a lot of bouldering and sport climbing is there because the weather's so terrible in Patagonia that I'll be waiting for a window to get anywhere into the mountains. But if I'm going to be in the mountains, I want to have a good shoe for being able to travel all day in and then also still be able to crush. So obviously I went with the TC Pros. These are used. I bought them off Mountain Project. So these will be my go-to shoe for all mountain routes, and then just for the days where I'm bouldering and sport climbing. My staple, the Testarossas. I've been climbing with these for 6 years now. The best shoe I've ever climbed in. I've never switched out of anything for a hard send shoe. And then I just bring a single chalk bag. This is a V-line chalk bag made locally in Salt Lake City. So they make all their chalk bags custom. And then a lapis brush for those boulder problems. And then my last piece of equipment is pretty vital. It was kind of hard to decide to bring a helmet because kind of a bulky item to carry for 2 countries in 3 months, but I think it's such a vital thing to have. I've had some pretty close friends that have had some accidents, and if they didn't have helmets on, they probably wouldn't be here today. So I'm going to bring this. This is the Mammoth Rock Rider helmet, ultra lightweight. It's got a plastic outer shell, but it's a styrofoam inner. Unlike, it's kind of the newer model, the new swing and climbing is moving into this style of almost like a bicycle helmet, but super lightweight, and I'll just probably like pack some undies and socks in there so I can use up that space in my pack. And then I got 2 more things here. Obviously I'll have a bladder, like I went back to about water. This is a 3-liter Camelback bladder, pretty basic. This will be in the back of the pack, and I'll have that full all the time. And then with this Catadine, I can actually fill this up, flip the lid open, and then squeeze water out into that to filter it. So I'll constantly have clean water. And then my last thing here is pretty important. This is a Sea to Summit body belt. This will go underneath my clothes in all my travel situations, when I'm on buses, when I'm hitchhiking, when I'm hiking down the road, if I'm couch surfing, anything along those lines. If I feel a little unsafe, all of my personal belongings will be in here, including my passport, my money, everything like that. And this will be underneath my shirt and against my body. And hopefully I never have any problems, but it's always good to be safe and have all your valuables locked in there. That's pretty much it. I'll have a Black Diamond little day pack. It has no frame or styrofoam or anything like that. Packs down super small, and that'll just allow me for long routes to carry food and my water bottle and stuff like that. And then also to, if I'm going to be in a hostel, I can put my big bag in a locker and I can go out on the town with a day pack and not have to carry, 60 pounds of gear around with me all day. And then a little chamois towel, Sea to Summit towel, and it just packs down super small, and that'll be so I can shower and stuff like that and have something to dry off with rather than constantly looking for towels. So other than that, that's everything I'll be carrying on me for 2 to 3 months down in South America. So should be good. So this is the Big Agnes Scout Plus UL2. It's the second line of their Scout. It's the ultralight version. I bought it specifically because I wanted to carry trekking poles for multiple reasons. I got pretty bad knees. It's good for rocky terrain to have these. And then this will probably be my first line of defense if I ever get into a little skirmish. But the tent sets up around it. So the tent itself, outside of the trekking poles, and the bag, pack weight is 2 pounds 5 ounces. So I was pretty stoked on that. And then a pretty simple design here. You just stick this pole on the inside of the tent. It's got a reinforced rubber patch up top, and a little square down here. So the first pole goes in right there, and then you crawl past it, no bumper. There's the second one back here. And you stick that one in there, and it's good to go. So this will be my main sleeping quarters on the trip. Pretty excited about that. Went with the 2-man version so that I could be inside the tent with my pack at all times. Got a few gear nets inside here. Other than that, pretty simple design. It's all one piece. The rainfly isn't separate. Once it's up like this, you just take these guy lines here on either side, stake those out. The tension from the guy line on the vestibule and the guy line in the back is what gives the tension structure. The big vestibule is good for gear, but I would prefer to have it inside with me. So this tension's out, got a vestibule, the tent. Tried to set it up in pretty shitty conditions today so I could just see how it acts with the wind. So I'm gonna go ahead and guy all that out and see how it does. All right, so that's pretty much it. It's all staked out now. Opposing tension from the front guy line, the back guy line, keep the poles up, and that's it. 2 poles, 11 guy lines. We're done.